Hello, welcome to part 2 of our behind the scenes Monster Cheeks update. What has happened is that at the end of part 1, that while streaming 2 days ago on August 27th, which is when part 1 was recorded, our stream gave out, thus ending our recording, and I never even noticed. So I was going along, making changes, doing the update, talking along, and just not even noticing what happened. So, after a while, after a good part of the update, I finally realized I wasn't streaming any longer. I picked it up again, which will bring us to part 3. Where we'll then be back 2 days in the past, and we'll pick up where we left off when I finally had realized tragedy had struck. So at the end of part 1, where it abruptly ended, we were going to start here at the beginning of the track, which only allowed for 14 players. I could squeeze more in, but it just made the start kind of odd. So I moved. What I'd have done is that during the time when recording had stopped, I took the trigger in the start line, moved it way down here to the street. Now this is going to allow for the maximum 30 players, and hopefully one day I'll get to see the spectacle of 30 trucks on this track racing up the mountain, which I think would be really cool. So I took the trigger and I've placed it here. So we'll start here, and I've moved checkpoints around and added a couple. So now we're taking our route all the way up here around this turn. And we've added some checkpoints, and we're still going to end up going through the original start line. And of course, nothing's changed here. But on this, we've taken this checkpoint off from the tracks. We moved it up here in the bushes. So, you can go on either side, or you can go straight through now. You don't have to be forced to come up all the way this way to get the checkpoint. Not much was changed on the hill climb, except for there were a few checkpoints down here that were removed just to remove the clutter. They were just cluttered up a lot down this way. So they're a little bit more spread out coming up. Going up the climb, I didn't do any changes up this way. Although I did explain where the original checkpoints used to lay before I changed it, the first time from players not being able to do it, was this checkpoint here used to connect to a checkpoint just behind it here, which would pretty much force you to come up all the way up here. But if you fell down after getting this checkpoint, it would throw you all the way back down the mountain every time. So I ended up removing that one. So, of course, you have players that will now know to come up this way instead of going straight up that. Nothing was changed to these checkpoints, but up here, we've moved this checkpoint over on this side, as it used to be on this side. As you can see over here, it's a little bit more cleaner, a little bit more smoother shot coming to the edge. We've also taken the stunt jump and moved it accordingly. And the camera, we've changed the camera view so when you come off it's gonna look different. After that I proceeded to go over this way, and I took this checkpoint, which used to be over in here a little bit more. I moved it up this way. So now this bunch of rocks isn't going to be quite so in the way, so hopefully players won't get the back ends of their trucks kicked up before they have a chance to, hit down here somewhere and, potentially get a good jump off the mountain. I mean, there's cleaner spots, but I've tried around here and these rocks kind of slow you up for the takeoff. Maybe I'll put it there later on, but for now, I think I'm gonna just keep it here. Now, if I remember right, those were pretty much all the changes that I had made while the stream had stopped and recording had stopped. Of course, one of the major changes during that time was definitely the start line, the adding of the extra 16 trucks, and the adding of those extra checkpoints, of course lengthening the track a little bit more, but definitely opening up the possibility of one day having 30 players at one time on this track. So, with all that being said, I think we'll take you to a regularly scheduled program already in progress. Back in the past 2 days ago, and we'll continue the update when I pick streaming up and start recording again. So, we'll see you on part 3.